Okay, so to get something onto the TV here, first thing you'll want to do is ensure the TV is turned on. Ideally, once that happens, it'll turn this Yamaha receiver on along with it. They're kind of tied together. All right. So, assuming no one has messed around with it, the TV should be on what's called HDMI 1/MHL. You'll see it at the top there, right?
Oh, it took a sec for the audio to come on too.
Yeah. It takes it like a couple seconds, right? So give it around 20 seconds, right? And then the last input that was active is going to come on immediately, all right? So assuming you want to change it, this will all be labeled in the future, but just to go through it quickly, let's say you want to get the computer onto the TV with the audio coming throughout. We're going to cycle it through using this, the input selector, to HDMI 1, and this will be labeled. All right, so we'll go over here. We're in HDMI 1. This is what the computer's on. And we don't see anything right now, right? Because the computer's in sleep mode. So we'll wake it up by just tapping the keyboard. And there we got it there now, right? And the audio would also be coming through here. If you wanted to use this Blu-ray player or DVD player for something, right? That's on HDMI 2. So we cycle it over to HDMI 2. Make sure it's turned on. And there we go. And that's pretty much it. For volume control, you have a few options, depending on what you want to do, right? So you can obviously control it from like the computer, right? But that'll max out at a certain point. The receiver is linked to the TV in an audio way as well, and this remote works for that, right? So all you got to do is, if you crank the audio up on the TV, see in the bottom right-hand corner there, and also here, we're raising the volume currently. Be careful with this because this thing can get really, really loud. So yeah, if you're just like going to be cycling through, you might want to just kind of turn this to the left, right? And kind of get it low, maybe even to mute. And then once you get to your input, right, start raising it slowly, because when I got in here, this was jacked up, and yeah, this will
blow you out.
Yeah, it'll blow you out. But that's about it, right? Ideally, no one ever messes with the back cabling over here.
Okay.
In the case that they need to, right? If they have a MacBook or something, contact ESD. And Vanessa?
She left. George took her place.
George took her place? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Right? So I handed off a cable to her. It's assuming someone brings in like a MacBook. And they want to do a presentation. At that point, just get with ESD and give us that cable, and we'll do it from there.
And is that regular HDMI cable?
It's an HDMI to a USB-C display cable.
Have you seen anything
so they
like
can take
that?
an outside MacBook and tie it to that thing and somehow be okay with not being on the Coast Guard system, right?
Yes, it's totally separate. So this is just display and audio.
Okay.
Right? So it won't pass any data back to the Coast Guard network.
Okay.
So it's not capable of doing that.
Okay. So like the other day, they did training for Assist. And I don't know if they brought a Mac, but let's just say it's a HP laptop. What's the case for that scenario?
So my recommendation would still be to just reach out to ESD, but if you're in a pinch or something, right, you can kind of follow along with the guide quickly, right? So you can find, right, like HDMI 1, right? So what you would end up doing is disconnecting an input on the receiver. So this is where it gets a little squirrely. You disconnect your input on the receiver and connect it to the device. But for example, right, let's say they brought in their HP laptop, wanted to connect it up here, right? So we'll recycle HDMI 1 in this case, right? So we'll set the receiver to HDMI 1 here, right? We'll put that on there like that. And from here, what you can do is disconnect it from the computer, or for example, right, if we wanted to use the most convenient one, right? It's on the Blu-ray player here, right? We would cycle the receiver to HDMI 2, right?
Plug that thing in.
And plug that in, and now it's going to be running through that laptop. And once
Okay.
you're done, you just plug it back in where you found it.
Okay, so in this case, the TV was HDMI 1, the receiver was HDMI 2, and we pulled out the HDMI cable from the Blu-ray player.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So the TV always has to live on HDMI 1.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
If that ever gets changed, it's pretty easy to, put it back on, right? So there's an input button right here on the TV's remote.
Right.
You click that, and this is the one we always want to be on, HDMI
Okay.
1/MH.
On the
It should
TV.
pick up on that, right? But there will be times where it just might not, right?
Now,
Okay.
what people do, they come in and immediately shift that. Just so you know, that's the first
I
thing
know,
everybody does.
I
don't
know.
I've watched them do it 100 times.
Yeah.
They mess with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they didn't know about that.
Yeah.
And so when we come, let's say we're giving training and we're logging into the workstation, and we turn up the volume, is it automatically going to be connected to the speakers here, or is it going to?
Yes, it automatically connects, assuming no one messes with the receiver, right? So the receiver handles all of the audio stuff. You
Okay.
can set different audio inputs separately, right? There's like Bluetooth, there's radio. So someone might come in here and they want to listen to the radio, right? We got radio on here, right? So they'll turn on tuner. And then, this guy will turn off, what have you. And you want to get to the computer, right? So you come in here and you click on, this, and it's like, oh, there's all this weird stuff. Or they might have Bluetooth running, right? And so this screen's going to look different. At this point, you want to just cycle through these inputs.
Okay.
Right? And select those. I don't think most people would mess around with it too far from there.
Okay.
And
Because that should always be on HDMI 2 typically.
You got that TV there?
yeah, typically it'll probably be living on like HDMI 2 or 1.
Okay.
Right? Either the computer or like this Blu-ray player. I guess also maybe this box here, which is, I think it's HDMI 3. Yeah. HDMI 3.
And one last thing, so if by chance we came in here to go into Teams for all hands training,
Yep.
and
That's just computer. That's going to be HDMI 1.
yeah,
You
so
sign into Teams.
Yeah, sign
okay,
into Teams, and then at that point,
The camera grabs it.
yeah, camera grabs it, and then you can kind of mess around with the camera. There's
and this microphone is automatically working for
Yes.
for that right there on the side.
Yes. So the microphone, you have a few functions on here, right? So you have like a physical mute here and like some volume stuff here as well, right? So if you're going into Teams, right, and you guys are gonna be doing a conference, and they're not getting any audio, right, and you're not muted on the computer, right, you might be muted on here, right? And
Okay.
you'll see that now it's muted. It's red.
Okay,
Blue is unmuted.
okay,
So just make sure you check that. Someone might accidentally just tap that. It's it's not really a button. You can just brush it,
okay,
and it'll put you on mute. Yeah. So this is just automatically connected to the computer. That should pick itself up pretty quickly.
okay,
What else? You also have a conference phone in here, in the case that you need it. You just unplug it from the charger down here, and then just a phone.
okay. Perfect.
And then that works as needed. So I have the VCR here still. You can use that. That's HDMI 4.
Okay,
Rarely going to be used, but I'm guessing some old trainings that have it positioned. They
okay.
still work that way. So that's
Okay.
why this guy's still here. Any questions otherwise?
You want to try? You want to stop? You want to